Hello, everybody. I am Brian Goulet.
I'm Drew Brown.
And we're here at Goulet Pens to deliver to you our hottest fountain pen inks of 2023. It was an interesting year. There's a lot of inks that came out, as there kind of is every year. And so we had to make this list.
But varying degrees of hotness.
This is true. Not all inks are the same temperature. So that's why we made this list, to maybe reflect a little bit on the year and what happened and talk about some of the coolest inks that came out in case you happen to miss it or you're just kind of curious what other people were up to. So we kind of compiled this list somewhat based on sales and somewhat based on our wildly subjective opinions. So yeah, I hope you like this list, and we're going to kind of start out a little cool and we're going to get hotter as we go. So make sure you stick till the end. All right. So to kick it off, we're going to start out with number 6. This is the Platinum Chou Kuro Black. Now, Platinum has a lot of cool inks. They've come out with good stuff. They have Carbon Black, which is like a pretty great dark black waterproof ink. So when they came out with another dark black waterproof ink, it was kind of like, okay, Carbon Black's like great. It's going to be hard to beat that, right? But they were like,
we heard that they were trying to do this, it was a bit of a shockwave.
We were like, okay.
And then we heard that it was going to come with special water to clean it with. We're like, how black is this? Like,
it's pretty dang black, let me tell you. So this is like the deepest, darkest black ink that I think is made in fountain pen ink, at least. So it's pretty great. They said that maybe it has some more like higher maintenance needs and stuff like that. In practicality, we haven't really found that to be the case. You kind of treat it like Carbon Black or like any other slightly pigmented ink, but it hasn't like been difficult to manage in pens. We found it pretty friendly to work with. It is
more friendly than we were expecting anyway. We were expecting it to be like, oh my God, is this going to hurt pens? And
right.
We got it and we're like, oh no, I mean, it's just a thick ink.
Yeah. So if you really like deep, dark black inks, if you absolutely hate shading and you want your ink to lay down and be one continuous dark color,
and you're willing to pay a premium for it,
it is a little more expensive.
It's a lot more expensive.
I'm sure the material components, it is a lot more expensive. So in that respect, it's not like it's taking over. I think Carbon Black is still more popular, but the notability of this ink coming out, and I would still say it had a pretty good, acceptance to it when it came out. So gotta tip our hat to Chou Kuro.
Definitely. Wearingeul. The whole brand. So we added a new brand this year, Brian.
We did.
Predominantly an ink brand.
Yes.
Wearingeul became a new challenger across our brand assortment.
That's right.
And they brought with them some fun inks, but also some other fun stuff. All ink adjacent, though. So we're going to talk about it within the ink category in this video. So Wearingeul brought us some inks, but they also included in their product lineup glitter potions, which is something we've never before seen. So we started carrying 4 glitter potions of various colors, and these are ink additives. Glitter that you would then, it is in liquid form. It's not just like a powder, but these glitter potions you would drop in a, predetermined amount based on the amount of ink you're adding it to, and then that ink would become a shimmer ink. You could shimmerify Konpeki, or you could even put some in Chou Kuro Black if you wanted to.
I haven't tried that. I don't know how well it worked, but
yeah, you can add it to anything. So that was new, that was exciting, and definitely worth picking up, and something that we don't see very often ever. Yeah, so that's also very, very cool. But in addition to that, they had a bunch of great inks, most notably the I Am a Cat ink.
Yeah, I think that one was kind of the standout.
It was probably the most standout, and looking at it, I think I understand why. It is a very unique color. It at first glance, it looks like a dark gray with gold shimmer. But I feel like it's actually like a deep, like steel blue, like almost like a navy gray almost.
Yeah, it walks that line.
Which I think is cool. And I think that's probably what a lot of the appeal is. It's not every day you see a unique ink when you've got, 800 colors available to you. And then they also brought to market some ink swatch accessories.
Yeah.
So they've got swab cards that you can color in, and the ink will only occupy a predetermined space that is shaped like a leaf or something like that, or an ink bottle. So that's very cool. It makes swabbing inks fun, and I like that. If you wanted to then store these little swabs, they provide you with a very affordable binder for like, $6 or less or something like that. And that's fun and cool. And if you didn't want to do the whole binder loose card thing, they have a notebook with these swabs already bound within the notebook. So they really invested a lot in the whole ink experience, not just the ink that you put in your pen, but you can put some stuff in your ink and put in your pen. You can put the pen onto paper and store that. So it really does show Wearingeul's commitment to the whole ink experience and reminding you that, you can make this a fun process, not just writing, but playing with your ink. And I love that. And I think that that's one of the reasons why Wearingeul belongs on this video today. Ferris wheel press buttered popcorn. So as you probably know, I know, I'm going to power through this. As you know, when we first carried Ferris wheel press inks, I wanted us to carry buttered popcorn because I liked it, but it was decided that we'd play it safe and not launch a yellow ink because yellow is traditionally not very popular.
Yeah.
Fair enough. After Ferris wheel press kind of happened, got some steam going, I was like, hey, y'all, buttered popcorn, please, 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 please. You very emphatically said, yes, absolutely, Drew. Not at all in a way to get me to shut up. And it worked. People loved it. It sold. It was the top-selling yellow ink of the year at the Goulet Pen Company, only for Ferris wheel press to discontinue it.
Yep.
Which I feel like they just
shows you how popular yellow ink is.
I know
overall,
it is still a yellow ink. Even the most popular yellow ink is still a yellow ink, and therefore not very popular.
To be fair, we picked up the brand. They were already rolling with buttered popcorn, so like we came a little bit late to the scene on it. I guess
so.
So I think like maybe its fate was already sealed before we picked it up, and we just didn't know it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of too late. But
either way, for a yellow ink to enter the fray and rocket to the top of, in beating out a great yellow ink in Roaring Cleaner Helianthus, and we do have a bunch of really great yellow inks, including some like crazy shimmer inks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But buttered popcorn held it strong. So in a way, I'm gonna say that before buttered popcorn gets discontinued, this was its final hurrah, skyrocketing to the top and going out in a blaze of glory.
There you go.
It's better to burn out than to fade away, right?
That's right.
In addition to buttered popcorn, Ferris wheel press did have a lot of worthy and notable contenders.
True.
Glistening Glass was very popular. The Fluttering Heart was their 2023 limited edition ink, and then they also came out with Cloak and Forest. That was one of their many Fairy Tales inks, and a lot of their other Fairy Tales inks were also super popular. Cloak and Forest was a Fairy Tales, right?
Yeah. And they've done a number of
Sugar and Spite, Poison Envy, all of their Fairy Tales launched really heavy. People got really excited about them, and that's something Ferris wheel press does really well. So people do tend to get excited because they come out with some crazy colors with some really interesting names, beautiful box art, and clever stories. So overall, Ferris wheel press did have some strong showings, but I think it's notable to put buttered popcorn up there as one final salute as it floats out
onto
the
service, buttered popcorn.
Yeah, float out onto a boat while we shoot a flaming arrow at it.
There you go. All right, so I don't think it would be a hottest inks list if we didn't have Sailor on here somewhere, because they're always coming out, kind of like Ferris wheel press, they're kind of always coming out with some really cool stuff.
They do.
So last year they came out with the first round of inks in their Yurameku series, which is kind of like a color shifting multi-tonal sort of a series. They don't specifically state that, but that's kind of what it ends up being.
That's the series that does weird things on different papers, right?
Yeah, basically every way you like photograph it and every paper you write it on, every pen you put in it looks wildly different.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to nail down from us trying to represent it in photography.
It's like which version of it do we show?
It's going to be like a roll of the dice, but you're going to get something cool and interesting, and it's going to do a lot of different stuff. So they followed up with last year's release with a second batch of 4 colors. And the one that was a standout is the one that we have on this list, the Sukigokoro. And it's a wild looking color. It's not one that even just looking at it, I would have probably said, yeah, this one's going to be the standout, but it turned out to be the most popular of the series. So this one, it's like like a gray, sort of a grayish green, but then it's also got like a brown or kind of a tan look to it, but then it also kind of goes red or burgundy if you put it on heavy enough in the right paper. So it can really look like a lot of different things, which is part of what I think makes it so cool. So it keeps definitely in that kind of tradition with the Yurameku of just being really wild and looking like a lot of different colors. But this one in particular stands out a lot and looks very, very interesting. So had to make the list.
Diamine Celadon Cat and Sailor's Warning. Every year for the last 5-6 years, a bunch of years. Did they do it during COVID? I don't know. The fountain pen community on Reddit partners with Diamine, the notable ink company, and creates an exclusive ink that is credited to the community members on Reddit for having voted on and chosen. This year, it was 2 inks. And previously, these inks have done really well.
Yeah.
They're community born, and that generates a lot of excitement and interest. And their colors are almost always fantastic as well. This year, though, we got 2. And one was called Sailor's Warning, which is a beautiful red with shimmer. And the other one is called Celadon Cat, which is a really unique kind of a dusty teal. Both are a ton of fun. Celadon Cat, I think, edged things out a little bit more in terms of popularity. It has great shading. I used that one for a good portion of the year and really enjoyed my experience with it. But the fact is that launching 2 inks from a community-driven source really did surge them up to a hot point in the year's ink allotment for sure. And I don't know if there's ever going to be a year where the Reddit ink doesn't make this list, but at least for now, they're definitely on there and deserve their place.
All right, before we get to our number 1 pick, we have some honorable mentions here, which mostly are inks that either were only available for a short period of time or had some kind of caveat to them, or it's stuff that's regularly available and wasn't like hot as a release, but just is really popular and is kind of worth mentioning. But we don't want to have the same list that comes out every single year.
Yeah.
So this part might feel a little familiar, but we do have some newer ones on here. Pelikan Edelstein Rose Quartz. That was their ink of the year this year. Overall, pretty popular. I think this ink tends to be pretty popular overall anyway. It's pretty much always the most interesting Edelstein ink every single year, but that one was pretty popular this year, so I had to mention that one.
Also out this year was a new ink from Monteverde, Blue Skies, which was an exclusive created for us based on our blue color, which is, it's basically a dead ringer for it. The reason why I don't think we could confidently put it on our list was because it was given away free with a lot of Monteverde and Conklin pens this year. So sales numbers are a little crazy. It was objectively popular though.
It also sold like in tandem with the set, with the pen, the Innova pen. So it was like, it was hard for us to parse out like how well just the ink itself did. But we definitely, it's a lot of it got out there. It's a Goulet blue that was very much designed as a Goulet blue color. So yeah, it was one that we had to mention, especially because a lot of y'all probably have it in your pens. All right, now for the regular colors that are just kind of always around.
Dude, I bet the top one's going to surprise everybody, isn't it?
On a rolling boil. Yeah, the Organic Studio Nitrogen. Shocker.
Every year.
This is both bottles and samples.
Every year.
At the top. It's just, you know, it's such a compelling ink. What are you going to do? People like,
and at this point, everybody knows that it's
you know
high maintenance.
You know what you're in for. Yeah,
they don't care.
It doesn't get much higher maintenance.
Like, give it to me.
Yeah, they still want it. So y'all want it, and it's up there on the list. Another one. This has been an old standby forever. Is Noodler's Black. Continues to be one of the most popular black inks that we have, as well as Noodler's Southwest Sunset. This is a great color. It's one of my favorites because of the shading. It just looks unreal. Nice orange color, which is not always necessarily like one of the most popular ink colors, but this one, you know, in that orange yellow vein, it's pretty cool. So that was special.
Last year, Colorverse Witch by Starlight was created, and cool. That is an exclusive for the Goulet Pen Company. It was hot last year. It continues to be hot this year. It is a staple. I believe that it tops our Colorverse sales chart every month. So we got to mention that one. It is a stunningly beautiful ink. Just a lot going on in the swab and on the page in terms of, you know, leaving a fountain pen too. So it's a fun ink to try, and I think that it's reinforced every year now. Additionally, the old favorite, like it's almost as predictable as nitrogen. Jacques Herbin, Emerald of Chivor.
Shocker.
Emerald of Chicken, coming through again. It is probably going to be the most popular teal ink we have year to year.
It came out like a decade ago at this point,
and is still going strong.
It's one of my favorites. I love it. Yeah.
And those are the honorable mentions.
They are indeed. You ready for number 1?
I mean, I'm a little ready, but I also like to be a little terrified. So go ahead.
Numbers 1 through 25, technically, because guess what? It's the Diamine InkVent for 2023.
I gotcha.
The purple.
The purple edition.
Yeah. This is maybe not a shocker, but I mean, legitimately though, it sold really well. It was really popular, and just the whole experience of having the calendar with the little doors that you open. I mean, advent calendars are cool, just like it's fun little kind of activities anyway. But I mean, to get all these different colors, they legitimately come up with 25 new colors. I don't know how, because I think Diamine at this point is the brand that we have that has the most colors, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, after 4 years of InkVent, that makes sense.
I know, and they don't ever drop anything either.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, maybe they will at some point, but like they just keep on adding, and they keep on being great colors too. So
I think that it's important to, as it pertains to this list though, because it is such a community event.
It is,
and it is an experience, and it really is something that penetrates the community in sharing and talking about it is. And that's one thing that, you know, one of the many things is that's great about the fountain pen community is the community itself and the engagement. And the InkVent calendar helps with that. Everybody's excited to share. What did you think about day 4? Like, and Diamine, you know, obviously has capitalized on it, but they're also driving that communication and that passion, that joy. And this time of year, that's exactly what we want. It's a delightful thing to experience.
I'm sure it's a labor of love on their part, because to develop all these new inks and all that kind of stuff, like,
it's not easy.
I mean, they're selling a bunch, but they're probably not selling, you know, that many. They're not like retiring off of this. I'm sure that it's like they do it for the love as well. So that's really cool to see. It's nice to see the excitement and bloggers coming out with, you know, each day that it's coming out, releasing it, you know, sharing about it. That's really cool. We're in like this weird place with that though, because we sell it, but part of the selling of it is the surprise element.
Right.
So we're like, we want to share.
Do we
like
show anything? Do we not?
We don't want to show it and spoil it. So we kind of let others.
We
in the
usually
community,
don't.
Yeah, we kind of let others in the community do it. And I will say, in years past, usually by the time we come out with this video, they're all gone. So we're talking about it like, okay, yeah, they're really popular, but like, let's move on, so we don't get everybody too excited. But at least as of recording this, we still have some, because I think they upped their production this year, and so there are still some available.
In fact, every ink on our list is still available right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you right? Yeah. You know what? Except for Buttered Popcorn. That
Right.
one's gone.
You can get samples right now.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Once this video comes out.
Okay. Yeah.
True
Samples
for
might be
so.
gone.
Close though. It was close.
Yeah, it was almost.
But anyway. So yeah, there you go. That's what we got. So the specific colors. I mean, the InkVent. The colors are all over the place. It's not just like holiday themed colors. Some of them are, but some of them are like, you know, oranges and yellows and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, it's a vast experience range. That's what I was trying to say. Vast range of colors on that.
And also new components. They've got like chameleon ink and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, so they're really trying to innovate. They're not just phoning it in with these colors. They really are trying to deliver a wow every year.
Absolutely. Well, we hope they keep it coming, because every year they keep on nailing it. So there you go. That's our list for this year. I mean, there's a lot of other great inks that came out too. We could have made this list probably 40 items long if we really wanted to.
But then we wouldn't have any
really
feedback.
long.
It would just be perfect. And why would we want to do that?
Yeah.
We can't be perfect.
We always intentionally leave things unperfect around here, because perfection is boring.
That's it.
But anyway. Yes, that's why. So anyway, that's what we got. I hope y'all like this. It's been a wild 2023. Seen some great products come out. We hope to see many more. We're going to keep doing this, I don't know, until forever, I guess. We're locked in at this point.
That's my plan. I don't know about you.
I'm not planning on going anywhere either.
Great.
So
It's
we'll keep it up if y'all like it. But you can get all these inks and a lot of other cool things at gouletpens.com. Thank you so much for watching and for all your support this year. We hope you have a great start to 2024, and right on.